Yo, overpopulation deniers challenge overpopulation alarmists with various arguments. Chief among them is their calculating human population with mathematics. They note that all of Earth's 8 billion people could fit in the state of Texas, and Texas would still be less crowded than New York City's borough of Manhattan. Also, that only metropolitan areas are overcrowded, but not fatally so, as so many live their lives there just fine. And all people must do is spread out. Checkmate, they cry. Now is it really that simple, and have overpopulation alarmists been defeated with just a simple mathematical formula? Here are some things we must consider. New York City is wonderful in many respects, but sadly I must conclude that the beloved city is fatally overpopulated in a sense. That is, it's absolutely dependent on other areas, unlike itself for survival. Most obvious is all the food that must be imported from farming areas, which must be sparsely populated to allow for hectares of crops and vast room for livestock. Then there's the 12,000 tons of trash and 1,200 tons of sewage that New Yorkers produce every day, which must be shipped out. Then there are all the other goods that must be shipped in that NYC lacks the room to produce. All big cities are the same way. How about just spreading out? Well, since never in history have populations spread out evenly and have always been clustered, what makes you think they'll do so now? And note that populations have always congregated in close proximity to large lakes, rivers, and oceans. While a local water tower may satisfy sparsely populated areas, large populations far away from large bodies of water needed pumped to them and purified. This might either be impossible or too expensive to satisfy their needs for running sink water, hoses, bath and shower water, and water to operate the toilets. Also, there's a serious lack of jobs in rural areas. Secondly, it's been said it's not about population, it's about resources. Scientists say that it would require almost an entire of the earth to produce the resources we need just to sustain the population we have now. And it would take 5 Earths to support the human population if everyone's consumption patterns were similar to the average American. In response, it's noted that the ability to produce food has been and is increasing dramatically with modern technology and knowledge. However, this is largely done by abusing farm animals by smashing them together in tiny cages, pens, and stalls, and other cruel practices, factory farming, and increasing pesticide use, which poisons the environment. And automated farming eliminates needed jobs. Also, absolutely nothing is done to increase seafood productivity from oceans. It may be impossible to do so because of the astronomical size of such depths, uninhabitable to humans. So, fish populations are collapsing. In fact, Americans have wiped the following fish from planet Earth: the Amistad gambusia, blackfin cisco, deepwater cisco, hairlip sucker, Maryland darter, phantom shiner, San Marcos gambusia, Scioto madtom, short-nosed cisco, silver trout, thick-tail chub, and the angled riffle shell. That's a mollusk. The trump card in my argument is that masses of people worldwide are starving, malnourished, and lack clean water. Then there's the ever increasing demand for valuable metals and petroleum products. And you cannot breed or grow metal or petroleum. Thirdly, overpopulation deniers cry that birth rates have been dropping and thus raise the alarm that rates could drop to 0 births and the remaining humans could die out, causing human extinction. This is the slippery slope fallacy, an illogical way of thinking that assumes that one action or event inevitably leads to other more extreme actions and events. And the only period in human history where human populations did not dramatically increase was from AD 1340 to 1400 due to the Black Death, an especially deadly pandemic of bubonic, pneumonic, and septicemic plague. But this population decrease occurred before vaccines were invented. With modern medicine, an event of this magnitude would never happen again. Another argument is that without relentless childbirth, there won't be enough young people to take care of old people. To bolster this idea, some note that the percentage of the population over age 65 is predicted to rise to a level double that of children under 5. But this actually explodes the entire argument since only a fraction of senior citizens are invalids and must be cared for, while 100% of children under 5 need special care. So, decreasing birth rates even more might unburden social systems instead of straining them. And the world population has quadrupled since 1900, the greatest increase in human history. Fourthly, overpopulation deniers have no regard for non-human life, who are just as much God's creation as humans. Since there are around 6,000 mammal species, let's recalculate the numbers as 8 billion times 6,000 equals 48 trillion. Even if you figure that humans are 10 times more valuable than other mammals and thus should have 10 times their population, that would still be fatally overcrowded. But we're not, since human mammals hog the planet, having 6 times the biomass of all other mammals. 6 times 6,000 equals 36,000 times more prevalent. In fact, whenever human populations expand, the impact of other species. Consider that either American Indians, earlier nomads, or later American white settlers had a part in wiping the following mammals off the earth via excessive hunting: the American lion, American mastodon, American mountain deer, bison, antiquus, camelops, Caribbean monk seal, Columbia mammoth, dire wolf, Florida spectacled bear, giant short-faced bear, Hagerman horse, Puerto Rican Hoodia, Puerto Rican Nesofontes, pygmy mammoth, saber-toothed cat, sea minx, stellar sea cow, steppe lion, and the woolly mammoth. They also destroyed and extinguished the following birds: Bachman's warbler, Carolina parakeet, chindites, Eskimo curlew, great auk, Labrador duck, passenger pigeon, and the Xerces blue, a butterfly in that case. Thousands more animal species worldwide are threatened, numbering only several hundred worldwide. There are several sizable species that outnumber humans, but the only reason that their numbers are preserved is that humans use them for food. Such animals have been stripped of all their rights. So, between human impact on animals and their deforestation, strip mining, and pollution, humans are by far the most destructive life form on the planet. Knowing that none of their arguments have substance, some overpopulation deniers simply resort to cheap shots at population realists. For example, some have used a so-called straw man argument, a dishonest tactic, and illogical presentation to point out that some have advocated homosexuality as birth control. But only extremists ever advocate that. I oppose that completely. Another so-called straw man fallacy is crying racism. But I don't care whether a population group is red, white, blue, black, brown, yellow, green, orange, purple, gray, or pink. What matters is that whatever races or ethnicities are over reproducing should be coerced to stop. Instead, the honest thing would be to compare the average overpopulation realist with the average overpopulation denier. By doing this, I would venture to guess that you would discover that we tend to be more conscientious on average. Others bring up abortion as though abortion and population control are inextricably linked. They are not. I oppose abortion in all circumstances. Some overpopulation deniers spout pompous nonsense about wanting to increase the human population because they are filled with love and or caring toward other people. History shows that the vast majority of breeders are not. Many give the reason for having many children as being able to teach their children their beliefs and ideologies and have their children spread them. But everyone thinks that their values, no matter what they are or are not, are better than everybody else's. More pompous nonsense. Some have articulated the crazy notion that ideas of peaceful population control pose a risk of leading to genocide. This is just vile slander. In summary, it's not only checkmate to overpopulation deniers, but dealing with them is also like trying to play chess with a toad. It just knocks the pieces over, craps on the board, and hops away to claim victory. The two reasons that people want to increase the human population today are arrogance in wanting to produce more people like themselves, and greedy capitalism is more people equals more consumers. So give everyone access to and education on birth control. Emphasize the benefits of having smaller families so that people will choose to have fewer children. Not childless, but child free.